The cold air hits you first. It's bitter and smells of stale cigarettes and cheap bleach. Your eyelids feel like they are weighted with lead, and as you peel them open, a sharp, rhythmic throbbing behind your temples threatens to shatter your skull. You are lying on a bed with sheets that feel like sandpaper, in a room that looks like it hasn't seen a renovation since the late 80s. The last 24 hours are a complete void, a black hole in your memory. You reach for your phone, but it's a brick locked by encryption you don't recognize. Desperation begins to claw at your throat as you realize you don't even know what city you are in. You stumble toward the television, fumbling for the remote, hoping for a clock, a weather report, anything to anchor you to reality. The screen flickers to life, and the blue light washes over your pale face, casting long ghostly shadows against the wall. You aren't looking at a sitcom or a morning talk show. You are looking at yourself. Your driver's license photo is plastered across a banner that reads "Breaking News" in bold, aggressive red letters. CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, they are all showing the same image. The news anchor's voice is urgent, trembling with fear. They are calling you a high-level cyber-terrorist. They say you are the architect of the Great Blackout, the one who plunged 3 continents into darkness yesterday. The ticker flashes, "Armed and dangerous, the listing agencies authorized to use lethal force on sight." You stare at your own eyes on the screen, feeling like you are looking at a stranger, a monster born from a nightmare you can't remember. Before the shock can even settle into your bones, a sound from the hallway snaps you back to the present. It's the heavy, rhythmic thud of tactical boots on thin, worn-out carpet. It's not a maid or a guest. There is a deliberate, synchronized silence between the steps that signals professional training. Then you hear it, the distinct metallic click of a tactical weapon being readied right outside your door. Adrenaline, cold and electric, surges through your veins, forcing your muscles to move before your brain can process the fear. There is no time to think, no time to pack, and certainly no time to explain. You dive toward the bathroom, the only other exit in this cramped box of a room. The window is small, frosted glass caked with years of city grime, but it's your only hope. You heave it open, the frame screaming in protest as you squeeze through the narrow gap, just as the sound of a battering ram splintering your front door echoes through the motel. You tumble onto the wet asphalt of a back alley, the smell of rain and exhaust filling your lungs as you scramble to your feet. You don't look back to see the shadows of men in black gear. You sprint toward the crowded morning streets, blending into the sea of grey coats, umbrellas, and rushing commuters. Every person you pass is a potential witness. Every siren in the distance feels like it's screaming your name. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. This journey is only beginning, and the stakes are higher than you can imagine. As you catch your breath behind a rusted dumpster, a sharp sting on your inner thigh draws your attention. You reach down, sliding your hand under your jeans, and feel something hard and metallic. It's a silver flash drive, secured tightly to your skin with industrial-grade duct tape. The tape pulls at your skin as you touch it. Your heart hammers against your ribs like a trapped bird. Suddenly, your dead phone vibrates in your pocket. A text message from an unknown number bypasses the lock screen. They know where you're going. Don't trust the police, and definitely don't trust her, or the shadows following you. The city has transformed into a predatory organism, and you are its only prey. Every black CCTV dome mounted on a street lamp feels like the cold glass eye of a sniper tracking your every move. You pull your collar up, ducking your head as you pass a digital billboard that flickers with your own image every few seconds. To the mother pushing a stroller, you are a monster. To the teenager on his phone, you are a walking payday. The news has turned the entire population into a standing army of unpaid bounty hunters, all of them hungry for the fame that comes with turning in the man who supposedly broke the world. Your skin crawls with the phantom sensation of 1,000 gazes, a collective weight that makes your shoulders ache and your breath come in shallow, jagged gasps. There is only one person left who might see the man behind the headline, someone who knew you before the blackout and before the silver drive was fused to your life. You find a derelict transit hub, the air thick with the smell of diesel and damp concrete, and use a discarded calling card to reach Sarah. She was your partner, your anchor, in a life that feels like it belonged to someone else in a different century. When she answers, her voice is a fragile thread full of a terror that makes your heart sink. You agree to meet in a secluded corner of the municipal park, a place with enough cover to hide, but enough open space to see a threat coming. The park is a misty cathedral of dying autumn leaves. When Sarah emerges from the fog, she looks smaller than you remember, her coat wrapped tightly around her, as if she's trying to disappear into the fabric. Her eyes are wide, darting toward every rustle of the wind. She doesn't hug you. She doesn't even touch you. The distance between you is a physical chasm carved by the weight of a global manhunt. She tells you she has a safe house, a place off the grid where the cameras can't see and the director's reach might falter. She offers you a way out, a moment of respite in the eye of the storm. If you're enjoying this high-stakes journey and want to see how this manhunt ends, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. As you follow her toward the edge of the park, a crushing sense of guilt begins to settle in your chest, heavier and more suffocating than the fear of capture. By reaching out, you've dragged her into the blast radius of your own destruction. Every step she takes beside you is a step toward a prison cell or a shallow grave. You see the way her hands tremble when she tucks a stray hair behind her ear, the way she flinches at the distant sound of a car backfiring in the city streets. You've turned a civilian into an accomplice, a target for the most powerful men on the planet. The realization that your survival might cost her everything is a jagged glass shard in your heart, twisting with every breath you take. The safe house is a nondescript brownstone on the edge of the industrial district, its windows boarded. But as you cross the threshold, the air changes. It grows cold and stagnant. You watch Sarah as she reaches into her pocket, her fingers fumbling with her phone. Her hand isn't just shaking anymore. It's vibrating with a violent rhythmic terror. She won't look at you. You catch a glimpse of her screen, a map with a pulsing red dot centered exactly where you stand. The betrayal hits you like a physical blow, stripping the air from your lungs and leaving you hollow. Outside, the screech of tires tears through the silence. 3 black SUVs skid to a halt, blocking the street in a coordinated strike. Men in tactical gear spill out like ink across the pavement. Sarah collapses against the wall, tears streaming down her face, her voice a broken whisper. They have her family. They gave her a choice, your life or theirs. Before you can even scream at the injustice of it, the silver flash drive against your thigh begins to thrum. It's a low-frequency hum that vibrates through your bones, an impossible energy building within the metal. A sudden arc of blue electricity leaps from your pocket, and with a deafening pop, every light on the block explodes into darkness, plunging the world into a void as the agents close in. The hum from the flash drive isn't just a sound, it's a physical force that rattles your teeth. When the surge finally hits, the streetlights don't just flicker, they die in a violent shower of sparks. In the sudden, heavy shroud of midnight, the tactical teams become blind giants. Their high-tech optics are fried, rendered into useless plastic by the EMP pulse. You hear Sarah's ragged sob against the cold brick wall, a sound that tears at the very fabric of your resolve. You want to reach for her, to tell her you understand why she broke. But the shadows are moving. The silence is short-lived, quickly replaced by the frantic shouting of men trying to recalibrate in the absolute dark. You turn your back on her, a choice that feels like a slow-motion execution of your own heart, and melt into the maze of alleyways. You are a ghost moving through a graveyard of technology, leaving the only person you ever loved in the hands of the people who broke her spirit to get to you. Hours later, in a basement internet cafe that smells of stale coffee and burning dust, you plug the drive into a terminal. Your fingers tremble as the files decompress, the progress bar crawling forward like a heartbeat. You expected a virus or a weapon, but what you find is far more dangerous: the unvarnished truth. The global blackout wasn't an act of terror, it was a surgical strike by the government itself. It was a calculated sacrifice designed to manufacture a crisis, a false flag operation intended to force a terrified public to beg for the very surveillance state that now hunts you. The director of intelligence didn't just frame you, he created a monster so he could sell the cage. The weight of the data is staggering. You hold the leash of the entire conspiracy in your hand, a digital nuclear option that could burn the entire political establishment down, or buy you 1,000 lifetimes of silence. The internal debate is a brief, violent storm. To leak the data is a guaranteed death sentence. To bargain is to become a part of the corruption you despise. You find yourself drawn to the city's central data hub, a monolith of glass and cold steel that serves as the nervous system for the network. You don't hide this time. You want to be found. The Director of Intelligence is waiting for you in the heart of the server room, his face a mask of cold indifference. He doesn't pull a gun, he offers a hand. He speaks of necessary evils and the greater good, offering you millions of dollars and a completely new identity in exchange for the drive. He promises you a life of luxury as a ghost, while the world continues to believe you are the villain who plunged them into darkness. You look at the monitor behind him, a massive screen displaying the live feeds of a city under martial law. You realize that there is no version of this story where you walk away clean. To survive as a ghost is to die as a man. With a single decisive keystroke, you bypass the final firewall. You don't hand him the drive. You upload it to the world. The broadcast hits every smartphone, every digital billboard, and every television screen simultaneously. Behind the director, his own face appears, discussing the logistics of the blackout. The silence in the room is deafening. Outside, the first sounds of the collective realization begin to rise from the streets, not the screams of fear, but the roar of a population that has finally seen the truth. Chaos is your only ally now. As the public begins to riot, the director's own security detail wavers. In the confusion, you slip through the emergency exit, descending into the belly of the city as the director is swarmed by his own men. You disappear into the surging crowds, a single drop of water in a breaking dam. The manhunt is over because the hunters are now the hunted. Weeks later, you are in a quiet cafe in a new country. Your phone pings with a message from Sarah. "I'm sorry, look under the table." You find a passport and a key. The hunt isn't over, it has just changed players.